Tensions between Iran and the U.S. could explode into war. Fresh talks are underway, but what does Tehran really want? You need to know what's at stake now. Iran's leadership has made clear that the primary goal of these fresh talks with the U.S. is the removal of crippling economic sanctions. These sanctions have severely impacted Iran's oil exports and financial sectors, leading to widespread economic hardship. Beyond sanctions relief, Tehran is pushing for security guarantees that the U.S. will not interfere militarily in Iranian affairs. This includes demands to halt support for opposition groups and end hostile actions in the region. Iran sees these talks as a chance to break out of isolation and reclaim its status on the international stage. The economic crisis inside Iran is a major driver behind the renewed diplomatic push. Last year, Iran's GDP contracted by around 6%, largely due to U.S. sanctions targeting oil exports and banking. Inflation remains high, eroding living standards for ordinary Iranians. This economic pressure forces Tehran to seek relief through negotiations, hoping that easing sanctions will stabilize the economy and reduce domestic unrest. The U.S., meanwhile, faces pressure from allies and global markets to resolve this stalemate. A significant sticking point in talks is Iran's insistence the U.S. withdraw support for militant groups it views as hostile proxies in the Middle East. Tehran demands that Washington end military posturing near Iranian borders, especially in Iraq and Syria. These security concerns feed into Iran's broader narrative of defending itself against foreign aggression. The U.S. is wary of making concessions that could embolden Iran's regional influence, complicating the path forward. Despite cautious optimism, experts warn that mutual distrust runs deep. Previous agreements, such as the 2015 nuclear deal, collapsed, leaving scars on both sides. These fresh talks are seen as a test of whether diplomacy can succeed in a climate of suspicion. Both Tehran and Washington are under domestic political pressure, Tehran from hardliners skeptical of U.S. intentions, and Washington from factions demanding a tough stance. The outcome could set the tone for peace or escalate conflict. The global economy is watching closely. Oil prices jumped 8% as markets reacted to the uncertainty surrounding the talks. Iran remains a major oil producer, and any disruption from conflict or sanctions shifts reverberate worldwide. Energy-dependent countries and corporations face potential cost increases, highlighting how geopolitical risks in Tehran trickle down to everyday consumers. Stability in these talks could ease market volatility, but failure risks sharp price spikes. What this means for you is clear. The outcome of these talks could impact fuel prices, global economic stability, and even the risk of wider conflict in the Middle East. Stay informed because Tehran's expectations and Washington's responses will shape the headlines and your wallet in the weeks ahead. Subscribe now to Daily Q&A for urgent updates on this evolving story.